Good afternoon. So today I want to talk about creation, and it is found in the book of Genesis. And first, we're going to define the word Genesis. And we understand that Genesis means origin, and Genesis is the first book of Torah, which is in turn the first portion of the Jewish sacred text, known collectively as the Tanakh. Genesis has been also incorporated in Old Testament of the Christian Bible. It tells us of the origins of the universe and the earth and its plants and animals and inhabitants. Genesis also carries the story of the ancient Hebrew people up to the time of Joseph. It is the central creation story for the religious traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This section focuses on the accounts of creation offered in Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2. According to Christian belief, God created the universe. There are two stories of how God created the universe, which are to be found in beginning of the book of Genesis. Some Christians regard Genesis 1 and 2 as two different stories that have been similar meaning. Others see the two chapters as part of one continuous story. In the beginning of creation, when God made heaven and earth, the earth was without form and void, with darkness over the face of the abyss, and a mighty wind that swept over the surface of the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and He separated light from darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness night. This account goes on to describe the 7 days of creation. In the beginning, God started the creation. In the first day, light was created. In the second day, the sky was created. In the third day, dry land, seas, plants, and trees were created. In the fourth day, the sun, moon, and stars were created. In the fifth day, creatures that live in the sea and creatures that fly were created. In the sixth day, animals that live on the land, and finally humans made in the image of God were created. By day 7, God finished his work of creation and he rested, making the seventh day a special and a holy day. In Genesis chapter 2, some people think that the story goes on to give more detail about the creation of humans, seen as two individuals, that is, Adam and Eve. Adam was made from the dust of the ground when God breathed up life to him. Eve was created out of the Adam's ribs to provide company and help for Adam. They lived in a special place called the Garden of Eden. Both of them were given a responsibility to take care of God's creation. There are some contradictions between the two accounts, that is Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, such as the order of when animals were created. In Genesis 1, we get the state that animals were created first and finally humans were created on the sixth day. Genesis 2 implies that humans were created before the animals, and some people think that Genesis 2 is just a more in depth look at the day 6 of creation. The key point of Genesis is that God is the creator of everything. In Genesis, we 1 and 2, we're talking about creation, and we understand that the topic of creation looks at the Genesis story of the creation of the world and humanity, focusing on how it is to be understood, the nature of humanity, and the teachings of Thomas Aquinas. There are different ways to read and understand the Bible. Some Christians believe that the Bible stories, including Genesis account, should be taken literally. This means that the biblical accounts are to be taken as a fact, that is, that God created the world in 6 days and he rested on the seventh day, and that no alternative of scientific theory is considered. This view is not one that is promoted by the Catholic Church. The Church teaches that the Bible accounts and stories are to be understood within the time that they were written, and that the authors of the biblical books had a limited knowledge of science and the world. So the Genesis account was their way of trying to explain what they believed. The Catholic Church interprets the Genesis account alongside science and the reason to try and understand the key message that God is responsible for the creation of the world. Science may be able to explain how the universe was created, but the Church teaches that religion explains the reason it was created. What did I say? Science may be able to explain how the universe was created, but the church teaches that religion explains the reason it was created. There has been an argument and discussions about uh, the image of God and its relation with human beings. The Catholic Church teaches that human beings were created in the likeness and image of God. The exact meaning of this has been debated. However, all Christians accept that it refers to the idea that humans were made to resemble God. This does not mean that humans are like God in appearance, but they have been given the same mental, moral, and social qualities of God. Catholics will often use the Latin term image Dei to describe this unique relationship between God and humans. It singles out humans as those special chosen by God. This is found in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26 to 27. Different Christians will have different understandings of what Imago Dei means. Some understand it to mean that humans share God's character and nature, or that humans are representatives of God on earth. Others understand that it allows humans to be in communion with God and give responsibility over His creation. Humans are given dominion over the world and are stewards of the land. In the next video, I'll be talking about the nature of humanity, original sin, and Aquinas, and the nature of humans. Thank you for following me. Kindly share the video, and if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly do.